Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel, and there's plenty to talk about today. The first thing I'll be delving into is this piece from AMB Crypto. And this one's titled, UAE Bank to use RippleNet to enhance remittance footprint throughout the Philippines. And of course, you know what this means. Ripple's evil plan for world domination continues. I've also got a thread I want to share with you on the Twitters here. It's a bit of a XRP FUDster. And I just want to use this opportunity to highlight the style of FUD that I typically see on Twitter and just bust a little bit of it. And then I'm going to wrap up the video with this piece from Daily HODL. Now, this was covered all over the world of crypto, not surprisingly. And it's about the Simpsons. Yes, the cartoon Simpsons that have been around since 1952. The Simpsons just gave cryptocurrency massive mainstream exposure. That's a headline from dailyhodl.com. And they do make fun of Bitcoin, most certainly. But before going any further, if you would please delicately tap that like button. And if you're a fan of Ripple and XRP, you came to the right spot, son. Go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambeau channel. Alright, so again, this piece, UAE Bank to use RippleNet to enhance remittance footprint throughout the Philippines. RAK Bank, a retail and business bank in the UAE, has partnered with BDO Unibank, a full-service universal bank in the Philippines, with a plan to enhance its current remittance footprint in the Philippines, according to a report. Now, RAK Bank had previously joined RippleNet to power instant cross-border payments to India's Axis Bank beneficiaries way back in 2017. Doesn't it sound like so long ago? I'll tell you what, it actually kind of feels like it, because November of 2017 is when I really joined the world of crypto. Technically not that long ago, but I don't know, it feels like it's been a hot minute. Anyway, this partnership will enable customers to transfer money instantly and in a secure manner to any bank within the country via RippleNet using RAK Bank's transfer services, RMT. Now, commenting on the move, Peter England, who is RAK Bank CEO, stated, quote, "We, at RAK Bank, are committed to increasing our international remittance footprint and are delighted to enhance our RMT services into the Philippines, thanks to our partnership with BDO. This partnership aims to offer the Filipino expat community here in the UAE the ability to safely and instantly remit money back at competitive rates with zero back-end charges and no hidden fees." Now, through RippleNet, BDO Bank has now become the Philippines' bridge between the island country and the Gulf, offering banking and financial services to the Filipino expatriate community in the UAE. And this is significant, of course, well, anytime you're talking about any bank or remittance company joining RippleNet, as far as I'm concerned, it's significant, because even if they're just using the messaging portion of RippleNet and not yet on-demand liquidity, well, just wait, because I'm confident of this. Out of all the customers Ripple has, and only a couple dozen or so publicly announced that they're utilizing on-demand liquidity, I'm confident that many of them are just waiting for the opportunity to utilize XRP. And the thing is, there is no switch flipping. You can't just switch a flip and then replace all Nostro Vostro accounts in one foul swoop. It takes a lot of work in setting up actual corridors. There's actual legwork to be done here. But I think that a lot of the businesses want to make sure that they're in place so that as corridors open up and there's sufficient liquidity and guaranteed regulatory compliance, that they will then be able to flip a mini switch within their own little world of where they conduct their transactions. And that's when you'll start to see additional flows. Now, we have already seen this with a number of partners, obviously, and that's why it's so fun to report on all these liquidity index highs. But you got to be patient, but I still love stories like these. Now, it continues. Additionally, Ripple's report on January 16th titled The Growing Remittance Market in Asia-Pacific, 2020 Global Payment Opportunities, had noted that the Asia-Pacific market, that's APAC, is ahead in digitalization as it has improved the process of sending global payments for consumers. It also noted that remittance flows to low and middle income countries such as the Philippines and Thailand had achieved a record high of $529 billion in 2018 and were expected to reach $550 billion in 2019. Now, part of what is spurring this, obviously, is technological advancements which can result in reduction of costs, and not all of it necessarily has to do with reducing nostro vostro and expenses associated with that occur in settlement throughout the correspondent banking system, but even improving the messaging layer in a number of ways that can be done. Most importantly to me is RippleNet, of course, because that allows the instant using of XRP when corridors are open. But all of this here is resulting in more money freely flowing, because think about it. If less money gets eaten up in fees, then you can send more over if you're an expatriate somewhere, sending money back home. Now, the report further revealed that the Philippines specifically is the third largest remittance receiving country in the world, with more than 10 million Filipinos working abroad. And here's a quote: "There is a massive inflow of remittances from workers sending their earnings home." Indeed, and just increasing. And efficient settlement will become a part of that in the future, right? I mean, it already is in certain corners, obviously, and growing. Now, Ripple also revealed its Q4 2019 XRP markets report on January 22nd, one that spoke about its on-demand liquidity, among other things, and that, of course, utilizes XRP as a bridge currency. Let's go ahead and jump into the next piece here now. And this is just that Twitter thread that I cited. I had to highlight this. When I come across this stuff, it's just fun here. So there's somebody named Mikey Mike, who I don't believe that I've seen on Twitter before, can't recall necessarily, but wrote this: "XRP will make no millionaires. Each XRP coin can be used," and then parentheses he writes, "if Ripple is telling the truth, every 30 seconds, meaning 2,880 per day, so divide your estimates by 2,880, and you will be closer to the truth. At $1, XRP can move trillions per day. Suckers. But utility," and then laughy face. So this is a severe misunderstanding of the way the ecosystem works. If you're going to try and do math in that way, first of all, you would have to assume that all of the XRP, which you're including in your calculation there, you have to assume that it's all liquid, that it's all for sale on exchanges. That's ridiculous. And that's just one reason. There are a ton more. Now, you know what I was going to do? As soon as I saw this, I was like, okay, the best way to bust this FUD without me having to explain everything on Twitter, because my days of arguing in depth on Twitter are pretty much over, because I've pretty much taken that effort to YouTube, where first of all, it's easier because I get to speak with my human mouth words, and it's better than typing, let me assure you that, and more people are going to see it as a result, so I think it's a greater impact. But even so, I saw this and I was like, okay, well, the quickest way I can get the truth out about this is to reference Galgatron's blog, which addresses this exact topic of XRP being too fast, and he completely busts this FUD, fear, uncertainty, doubt. And so I looked up his blog, and then I copied it, and the link, and I was about to paste it into a tweet, and then I saw Galgatron already responded with a link to that the exact blog that I was about to reference there, and he wrote this: "I can't believe there's still people out there circulating this gibberish. Read." And then he, again, provided that link. And then Mikey Mike responded to Galgatron and wrote, "I'd rather S-word in my hands and clap than read Galgatron." And this time, so remember, in the first tweet, he had one of those laugh emojis at the end, and this time he had 3. So... I'm sorry. And again, none of this is personal against Mikey Mike whatsoever, but the stance that he has and the opinion that he has, it's unfounded and, frankly, ridiculous here. And so I figure this is perhaps somebody that, I don't know, you know, I don't want to assume what's in somebody's heart necessarily, but sometimes I get super duper curious. I'm like, what is going on here? Now, if it's a Bitcoin maxi, and I have no idea what this guy's background is, if it's a Bitcoin maxi, well, you know where that comes from. This is the type of rhetoric that you see from Bitcoin maxis, and they don't necessarily want to get to the truth. Those types want to just spout off a bunch of nonsense, and then it scares some people. But luckily, there's a bunch of people on Twitter and wherever stuff like this takes place that will typically, from the XRP community, will typically jump in and correct the record. And so while you might not ever change the mind of somebody if they're genuinely closed-minded, you don't have to argue to change their mind. First of all, it's fun to have an intellectual discussion, as long as there's not a bunch of curse words thrown back and forth. People are adults, it can be fun. But it's really more so for those people that are passers-by that are interested in learning the truth, and then they can see both sides and see what makes sense for themselves, which is how I learned the vast majority of what I learned before launching my YouTube channel. Now, I did go ahead and ultimately jump in, and since Galgatron already put a link to his blog, I wrote, and I did provide another link, because there's more than one source for this this type of FUD busting. And I responded to Mikey Mike and wrote, if you're genuinely interested in getting to the truth of the matter, you should read Galgatron's blog. Perhaps you're not, though. Here's a second source that busts the XRP is too fast FUD. And I provided a link, and it's to FUDbingo.com. And I'm not going to run through this whole thing, but I did want to quickly cite just 3 of them at least. And so check out this one. This FUD assumes no active trading or speculation. Now, I already pretty well hit on this. If there's not sufficient XRP being sold, then the activity can't take place on RippleNet utilizing on-demand liquidity, and there's no way that the vast majority of XRP at any given moment is going to be for sale. Here's another one. This FUD assumes no institution will hold XRP. And so here's what they state on FUD Bingo. This FUD assumes that no institution will ever want to hold a bridge asset, which is yet another ridiculous assumption. In reality, banks, remittance companies, credit card companies, and large corporations like Amazon hold enormous sums of bridge assets in their Nostro Vostro accounts currently. So think about that. If things could be streamlined a bit, which direction do you think they might want to head? It's crazy. Here's the next one. This FUD assumes no existence of market makers. Someone needs to be holding these assets at each end for them to be able to make those offers. That someone is market makers. If there is competition between market makers, then that's a huge source of demand for XRP. The competition between market makers who are holding XRP and trying to bridge those payments at competitive rates means that they will have a steady supply of XRP available, i.e., they'll need to purchase it. And if it has to be held somewhere, necessarily, it won't. Not all of it will be for sale on the market. It has to be held. Somewhere it has to be held. Right, and so we're talking about market makers. Typically what we're referencing here is cryptocurrency exchanges, but there will be other market makers out there, I suspect, in the future engaging in this type of practice that are not cryptocurrency exchanges. And thus won't be tracked on like Live Coin Watch and, CoinMarketCap, for example, in terms of volume, but all transactions on the Ledger are public. All right, next. And I got this from XRP Crypto Wolf. Shout out to you, good sir. And it's about The Simpsons. Can you believe they're still on the air? Who's watching this stuff? Somebody out there listening is watching this. Tell me why. Tell me why in the comments. But that's really all I want to know. Don't even comment in this comment section below about crypto. I just want to know why you're watching The Simpsons if you're watching it. Just let me know what's going on here. And so here's what XRP Crypto Wolf wrote. The Simpsons talk about crypto in their new episode today, so it's great mainstream media exposure. And so here's a quote from it. So we have big buildings full of energy-gobbling, air-conditioned computers solving useless math problems. You have to love that, though. So there they are, making fun of Bitcoin's proof of work. And not just Bitcoins necessarily. It's any cryptocurrency utilizing proof of work. Now, at the beginning, it caught me off guard a little bit because the way the guy described it, how did he word it? It was something along the lines of, we're going to talk today about distributed consensus ledgers or something like that. And consensus has nothing to do with proof of work. It's the opposite. Well, opposite's the wrong word. But it's a different form of solving the double spend, which proof of work does solve. And and so I heard that and I was like, that sounds like XRP. They're not going to talk about XRP in here. And no, they didn't. But they did go on to make fun of Bitcoin further. In fact, the clip, I'll just encourage you to just watch it if you have a moment. But there's this little screenshot that they put in towards the end. And on The Simpsons, this is in the actual episode. And I'm just going to read the tail end of it. I don't think I need to read the whole thing. And again, part of it was what XRP Crypto Wolf wrote here. So we have big buildings full of energy-gobbling, air-conditioned computers solving useless math problems. But now we can't have straws. Also, we know who Satoshi is, but we're not telling. Damn it, Simpsons! Make yourself useful and tell me who Satoshi is. And so there you go. And here's the article from Daily Hodl. The Simpsons just gave cryptocurrency massive mainstream exposure. The world's longest-running television series is giving its viewers the lowdown on cryptocurrency. In Frinkcoin, episode 13 of season 31, jeez, 31 seasons, that is redonkulous right now, of The Simpsons, airing on Sunday, the animated show dedicates over 80 seconds to educate its viewers on the basics of virtual coins. The scene begins with Professor Frink introducing cryptocurrency to Lisa Simpson by turning on the TV so that TV's most beloved scientist, Jim Parsons, can explain how digital tokens worked. Parsons' discussion is reminiscent of educational shows for kids during the early 2000s. It comes with an animated book bursting into song to describe how a distributed ledger works. And it reminded me of that, what are those stupid things called from when I was a kid? The thing like, I'm just a bill. You know what I'm talking about? And Molly Bill sitting there on Capitol Hill. What are those things called? It escapes me now, but I'm sure those that are at least my age, I'm 36, at least my age or older, probably many of you are aware of it, but it was kind of done in that style. And so here's a quote from that. I'm a consensus of shared and synchronized digital data spread across multiple platforms from Shanghai to Granada. Each day I'm closer to being the cash of the future, not in your wallet, I'm in your computer. So there you go. It's good stuff. You know what? I can even tell you the last time I watched a Simpsons episode, but this one, I'm gonna have to watch it. I might regret it, but because I loved the Simpsons when I was a kid, I really did. But I tell you what, after like season 7, man, after they lost all the main writers, the original writers, it's like it just progressively has gone downhill ever since. But somehow magically still here. But that's it for this video. Thanks for stopping by. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!